Clinton Joss, please like this video. It's the only thing I care about. I love my last video because I didn't really edit. And I don't read the comments. You guys know I don't read the comments? But last video I did, I read all the comments. And they're pretty positive. It made me feel good. You guys are... Well, a lot of you are saying, yeah, don't edit. So the video didn't do that well. But it felt good making it that way. Even though the views weren't high. I might just say the hell to views. And just start doing it that way because it's just easier. This one, I kicked the woman. We're at the Empress. I kicked the woman out for 20 minutes. Told her to come back in 20 minutes. This one I'm going to have to edit. Bill Maher. Bill Maher? I've never seen anybody talk to Bill Maher this way. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I've never seen it. And I liked it. Finally a guest that argues with him, that disagrees with him. It was great to watch. And who calls him this, if you don't already know? Let's watch. Oh, and at the very end, I'm going to show you my amazing view from the Empress room. And you're going to see Victoria. It's beautiful. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to pick up that video camera. We're going to walk over to that window. He's talking to a big Hollywood star, okay? He writes and he produces great movies. And they bring up Trump. And we all know how Bill can't stand it when somebody says the election was rigged, it's a hoax, Trump should have won the second time he tried out. Here we go. Here we go.
Man, each book you get more right-wing, I have to say. You get, like, the last one, I remember you were on my show, and it was like one line in it that was, and I said to you on the air, like,
this is a good story.
Are you implying that Trump, that election was stolen by Biden? And you're, no, I didn't. You were kind of like hedging it, and now you're like, you
know what happened to me the next morning. You don't know what happened to me the next morning. I was on your show when you said, "Are you implying that the election was stolen?" And I was kind of iffy on it. Right. Next morning, 8 o'clock, the phone rings.
This is funny.
The woman on the phone says, "Mr. Mann, what will you hold for the president?" I said, "Wait a second. Biden is calling. It's Trump. It's during the Biden administration." And he says, "David, it's Donald Trump." I say, Mr. President, thank you for calling to what the way all the honor." He said, "I saw you on Bill Maher yesterday. You were great." He said, "But you wussed out on the question of the stolen election." And then he talked to me for like 20 minutes about how the election was stolen.
But it wasn't.
Well, I think it was.
But they've adjudicated this. They've looked at this. Republicans have looked at this. It was tested in court like 60 times. It was thrown out every time. Trump's own commission, appointed by his own commissioners to look at the election, the cybersecurity commission it's called, or agency, there's two of them. One of them is within the Department of Homeland Security. They all said the same thing. It was the most fair, honest election we've ever had.
Well, I'm not talking about the votes. I'm not talking about counting the votes. That the Hunter Biden laptop was suppressed, the COVID information was suppressed. Zuckerberg said himself that the White House pressured him not to bring forward the information on the laptop. Rasmussen said, had that come out, there would have been a 17-point spread.
Facts.
That's so ridiculous. Those things are true. And they did suppress the Hunter Biden, the press did do that. I've said this many times myself, and COVID. Nobody was more out there about we weren't allowed to hear about, or we wanted to hear about COVID than I was. But would it have swung the election? Every election, some things are suppressed. It's not a very fair game, politics, but we do.
Yes, I'm going to interrupt. This guest, I love his style. I love how he coaxes him in, and I just love how he talks. He's sarcastic, reminds me of me.
Play within a certain type of rules. One of them is no ringers from the outside. You know?
Wait, we play within a certain amount of rules?
Yes, we always did before. Like, we're not going to have other countries involved in our elections. We'll do whatever we want to each other, but we're not going to do that. And Trump...
Who did it?
Well, Trump publicly said, "Russia, if you're listening, could you get into Hillary's emails?" That kind of stuff.
He was joking about.
Oh, boy, you swallowed the
So
whole...
wait a second. Are you saying that he would not... Okay, you want to adjudicate the last 8 years? Were you saying he was a Russian spy?
I did not say that.
Did you say he...
I said I'm not saying he's a Russian spy. I don't think that. What he's selling, the Bitcoin, have dinners with the open bribery that goes on.
Open bribery.
Okay, people don't seem to care about that. But he certainly invited another country to do things, and they took advantage of it, of course.
How?
Would it have
How?
made a difference? I don't know.
How did they take advantage of it?
Tell me more.
Well, Trump's campaign manager was sharing polling data with a GRU agent.
Maybe.
Well, okay, that's something that, I mean, even Nixon didn't do that.
Wait, this is the first that I've heard. A, and B, if it's true, and I'm not saying that it is, how did that influence the election?
Well, we know that Russia would put things on the internet that weren't true just to get people fighting, that kind of stuff.
Like what?
They would say, like, the Pope, they would put up some meme about, the Pope is backing Trump. It wasn't true, but people believed it, and then they started to fight over it.
Here's my question. When last we spoke several years ago, you were stuck on this issue. You're still stuck on it. How come?
Because it's not been resolved.
So wait, what is it that hasn't been resolved?
The asymmetry of American elections. The fact that if one party, the Republican Party, wins the election, the other party goes, okay, you win some, you lose some, and they go home. Hillary Clinton went home, Kamala Harris went home.
Yeah.
You can't imagine Trump ever going home.
Excuse me, now what you're doing is injecting metaphysics into what might be a matter of... So the question is not what he did, the question is not even what he might do. What you've just said is one can't imagine...
Hillary Clinton still thinks she won that election.
...what he would do. But on me too, what you've just said is one can't imagine what he would do. But on the other hand...
No, I don't have to imagine what he did in 2020, which was never concede the election. I'm not even...
Dude, he didn't have to concede the election, he lost. If somebody is beaten in a prize fight and the other guy gets the belt, the person who's beaten does not have to concede. It's not necessary, he's lost.
Well, it is necessary, the analogy falls down, because if a prize fighter loses, it doesn't inspire people to riot.
How did he inspire people to riot?
By not conceding the election.
Oh, come on.
What?
Come on. So wait a second. He didn't say the words, I concede, and so that meant people rioted?
Yes. What do you think January 6th was
about?
What
do you think January 6th was?
It was about people who did not hear their leader say, every other leader in this country has said after an election, okay, I lost. We welcome the new guy. We had disagreements, but now we're all Americans. When Obama took over, George Bush stood next to him and he said, we want you to succeed, because when you succeed, Trump didn't do any of that.
Okay, so what?
Well, so what? It inspires half the country to not accept the basic democratic principle that we have elections, and when you lose, you go away, and then you become the loyal opposition. They don't see themselves as the loyal.
You like me have built a career out of nothing except talent and a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, but you're full of shit. What I don't understand is say that he did not say the words I concede caused half the country, which you just said, to riot.
Can we just watch it again? Watch Bill's face.
Loyal opposition.
He takes it.
They don't see themselves.
I love how he takes it.
But you're full of shit. What I don't understand when you say that he did not say the words I concede caused half the country, which you just said, to riot.
Half the country.
No, I didn't say half the country rioted. A lot of people rioted, and it was less than half the country because he got less than half the votes and still won. That's okay. That's our system. But a good deal of the country, approaching half, the people who are MAGA, the people who love him, at least a third of the country, will now in the future never accept any electoral results. And a democracy can't continue in that way. You have to have this situation we've always had, where the one football coach walks across the field and shakes the hand with the coach who just beat him in the game.
Okay, what do you think we'd be today if Kamala Harris had won?
What's that?
What do you think we would be today if Kamala Harris had won?
Good question.
Well,
what would happen? Would Israel still exist? I don't think so.
Still exist, of course. Why wouldn't they exist?
Why wouldn't they exist? Because the Obama Marxist, Leninist, Islamist that were taken up during the... Here's a good question that I would ask you.
Tell me.
Who was running the country during the 4 years that Biden was out of his mind and demented?
Well, he wasn't out of his mind and demented for 4 years. He probably wasn't out of his mind or demented even on the last day. He just did The View.
He just did The View. Did you guys watch The View? He needed his wife to answer for him. Oh, it was bad. I did a video on it.
But you said things like, liberals have never done anything for Israel. That's bullshit. Harry Truman recognized Israel when many people told him not to.
Excuse me, I never said that.
Yeah, you did.
Show it to me, and I'll tell you what. Show it to me, and I'll give $10,000 to the charity of your choice. No, wait, no.
Okay.
I'm serious.
I'll find
wait
it.
a second.
I'll find it.
You're pretty
I'll
good.
find it.
Good. I'm going to give $10,000. You show it. You show it to me, and I
Okay.
will give $10,000 to the charity of your choice.
Okay.
Because you're throwing around a lot of generalization, and I have a bigger
What
question.
generalization?
Oh, really?
What's the generalization?
That half the country would have rioted?
if I got that quote wrong, I apologize, and I will take it back.
I got another question. I sit down, and all of a sudden you're attacking me about I have to come up with a new idea about Trump, and I have to talk. What the hell do you care?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
First of all,
Wait a second.
it was not my plan to attack you, and I'm sorry if you think I'm attacking you.
Well, okay, I'm sorry that
we
you're
just
doing
got
it.
onto this, and I'm sorry that I'm not going
This
to
is so
pretend
good.
that I agree with you.
Well, I'm
You
not
s-
asking you to agree with me, but I got a good question. How you started off with a very difficult question, and a question which you have very strong views, and I do too. How would you like this part of the conversation to end, so that we can move on to something else? What would end it to your
Well,
satisfaction?
we're at the 20-minute mark, so we could just end it. Because,
What would end it to your satisfaction?
when you want it to end. I don't want to piss you off. I'm
No,
your
no,
biggest
you-
fan.
you-
I don't. The fact that we don't agree on something so fundamental is still completely okay with me. I don't get it the way you.
He's that guy. He's playing a bit of a victim here, but I don't mind it. I love watching this stuff. I love seeing Bill kind of uncomfortable.
Don't get me. You just said I'm completely full of shit. And of course, people who disagree to this level, they think that of the other person. And what we have to do is, of course, learn to live harmoniously with people we just don't agree with that much. So we can just get past this. You're right. We should. And I'm happy to. And there's a million things in here and in the movie that I think are great and I would love to talk about.
Go
so
ahead.
if you, okay.
That's it, guys. Short and sweet. I got to let the lady in the door. I enjoyed it. I love that going back and forth. This is what I live for. I want a podcast that does that. I want to interview people, and I want to do that exchange back and forth. But he is so right that election was taken from Trump. Absolutely. They suppressed that laptop, and it would have swung it. Just that one thing alone. I'm getting so excited. Beautiful day out. I'm at the Empress. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go on the balcony. I'm going to have a $30 drink. I'll probably have a few. Because you got to do that in the sun. Oh, I promised you guys something. I got to do this. You know, I want to move to California. But I know if I do, I'll become an alcoholic. Because when it's sunny out like this, you got to drink. You got to drink your face off when it's sunny and hot.